Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that, well, it resonates deeply with pretty much everyone, whether it affects you directly or indirectly. We're talking about the challenge of finding stable, affordable housing. It's becoming incredibly urgent. And it's really more than just putting a roof over your head, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's about the very foundation of community well-being, individual dignity, and, frankly, economic stability for so many families.
Yeah.
This isn't some abstract policy thing. It's about real lives, real families.
Yeah,
The bedrock of how we live together.
indeed. And the scale of this problem is just immense. Our sources today, they really paint a vivid picture of how acutely this crisis is being felt, particularly in regions like the East End, which we'll talk about.
Right.
The recent Affordable Housing Summit there, which we'll be digging into it, really confirmed that this is a multifaceted challenge, deeply rooted in complex economic, social, even regulatory stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely not something with easy single-point fixes.
Right.
It needs a holistic approach and innovation that sets a clear foundation. So today, our deep dive is all about unpacking what happened at that gathering, the Affordable Housing Summit in the East End. We're going to look at the roots of the crisis, explore some really innovative solutions that came up, and then zoom in on a particularly crucial aspect, one that's often overlooked, special needs housing. This is where the impact really hits home for a lot of vulnerable people.
And our sources, mainly this in-depth article covering the summit, plus insights from key participants like Robert Flowers and his firm, Flowers and Associates, they give us a unique lens. Because this deep dive isn't just about identifying the problems. So often that's where the conversation stops. Right?
Yeah, true.
Instead, our focus is squarely on exploring actionable, impactful solutions, especially those that manage to blend real social good with sustainable, even profitable financial models.
Ah, interesting.
That intersection, where purpose meets profit, that's where some of the most exciting potential lies for real lasting change. Okay, so our mission today is clear. We want to distill the core challenges, highlight these surprising effective strategies from the summit, and ultimately reveal how individuals like you, our listener, can actually become part of the solution. And here's a powerful idea. Maybe not just as altruists, but maybe as investors contributing to community stability, making a real impact, maybe while also meeting financial goals. So what does this all mean for someone trying to get their head around this complex landscape quickly, thoroughly, without getting totally lost? Let's unpack this. Now, as we dive into these solutions, it's worth noting the summit highlighted organizations doing pioneering work. One really compelling example, and it ties right into this blend of social impact and sustainable business, is our sponsor, Flowers and Associates Property Rentals.
Ah, yes.
They specialize specifically in special needs housing. That's a critical area we'll explore today, and it really highlights this whole profit with purpose idea.
Indeed. Their approach, and we'll see this in the source materials from the summit, it aligns perfectly with that call for innovative solutions, addressing specific, often underserved community needs. Their founder, Robert Flowers, he's actually written books on this. His first one, I think it's called The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Streams Through Special Needs Housing, which really underscores how profit, when it's directed thoughtfully, can genuinely serve a profound purpose. It's not just about the money, it's creating housing for people who desperately need it.
For listeners who might be intrigued by this, combining impact with investment, or maybe just want to learn more about special needs housing, you can reach Flowers and Associates at 901-621-3544. We'll definitely delve more into their philosophy as we explore the solutions discussed at the summit. It's a powerful example.
It really is.
Okay.
The deepening crisis. Understanding affordable housing in the East End.
Okay, let's really get into this core issue then. The source material from the summit paints a clear picture, maybe even a stark one. What exactly is driving this housing crisis in places like the East End, according to their findings? What's really at the heart of it?
Well, the source material is pretty direct. It points to a significant and rapidly growing gap between housing supply and demand. And this isn't just a minor imbalance, or some slight market fluctuation that might correct itself.
Right.
It's a fundamental disconnect. The number of available affordable homes just can't keep pace with the number of people needing them. And this imbalance, it has this cascading effect. Housing prices just skyrocket, absolutely skyrocket, pushing them way beyond what average incomes can handle. And the consequences are severe, really far-reaching. You have families maybe lived in these communities for generations, suddenly priced out, forced to leave neighborhoods they've known forever.
That must be devastating.
It destabilizes entire communities. Think about the ripple effects. Disrupts schools, hits local businesses when people move away, strains the whole social fabric,
Yeah.
loss of continuity, identity.
Yeah.
It's a crisis that really undermines community stability at its foundation.
So it's not just about a lack of units, it's the market failing a huge chunk of the population, leading to this displacement. Sounds incredibly urgent.
It is. The urgency is palpable in the summit discussions.
And what are the specific forces? It feels like more than just supply, like you said, sort of a perfect storm.
It is a perfect storm. In the source material, the summit, they really pinpointed 3 primary culprits converging here, especially in desirable areas like the East End.
Okay, but what are they?
First, there's been a pretty substantial influx of wealthier individuals buying second homes, vacation property.
Ah, right. The Hamptons effect, sort of.
Kind of, yeah. Now, to be clear, that's not inherently negative in isolation. Investment can be good. But in this specific context, attractive areas like the East End, it directly inflates property values. Massively. These buyers often have significant capital. They pay above asking. Bidding wars, often all cash offers. Local families relying on local wages, they just can't compete. They're outbid constantly, even for modest places. Puts immense pressure on existing housing, shifts the market away from serving the resident workforce.
I see. Okay, what's the second factor?
Second, and this is a huge challenge everywhere, really, is the rising cost of construction. Materials and labor.
Yeah, you hear about that a lot. Lumber, steel.
Exactly. Timber, steel, concrete, even copper. Plus rising wages for skilled labor because there are shortages. It's all surged dramatically. So even if developers want to build more affordable housing, the economics are incredibly tough.
Right.
It becomes prohibitively expensive to build new homes at a price point low or even middle-income families can afford. Pushes up the break-even point for developers. Makes truly affordable projects financially unviable without significant help or, radical changes in how we build.
Okay, so that puts a brake on new supply, in a sense. And the third?
And third, and this is fascinating, is local zoning laws. They often, maybe inadvertently, limit the development of new affordable housing units.
How so?
Well, these laws often come from good intentions, right? Preserving neighborhood character, managing density, protecting environment.
Sure.
But they might mandate things like large minimum lot sizes, makes it impossible to build multiple units on one parcel. Or they restrict multifamily dwellings, maybe ban them outright in huge areas zoned only for single-family homes. Plus, many zoning codes have these lengthy, costly approval processes. Public hearings, environmental reviews, design mandates adds significant time and expense.
Bureaucracy.
Right. So even if a developer wants to build affordable units, the regulatory environment can make it incredibly difficult and expensive. It's structural, creates artificial scarcity, drives up the cost of the limited land you can build on. It shows how complex this is beyond just economics. It's deep policy stuff.
Wow. So yeah, perfect storm. Economic pressures, regulatory hurdles, creating bottlenecks, and that shift in who's buying. It really raises the question, what can be done? The summit must have moved beyond just listing problems, right? To summit solutions, charting a course towards affordability.
Right.
Because identifying problems is, well, often the easy part. The summit was very much about finding actual solutions, charting a path forward. What were some of the key strategies they talked about for creating more affordable options, both immediate fixes and maybe longer-term ideas?
Yeah, the discussions were pretty comprehensive, covered both immediate interventions, to ease the pressure now, and a longer-term vision for sustainable change. A major theme really running through everything was the need for public-private partnerships.
Okay.
The real insight wasn't just that they're needed, but the realization that neither sector government nor private can solve this alone, not at scale.
Makes sense. Synergy.
Exactly. You need the synergy. Public land, public mandate, combined with private sector agility and capital, that's the path. So moving beyond silos, deep collaboration between government, local, state, federal, and private developers or investors. Governments can bring things like surplus public land at lower cost, maybe offer regulatory flexibility, streamline permits, provide low-cost financing.
Right.
And private entities bring efficiency, construction expertise, investment capital. It lets you create projects that just wouldn't be financially feasible otherwise. It speeds things up, stretches resources.
Okay, partnerships are key. What else?
Another crucial strategy they championed was introducing direct incentives for developers to specifically build low-income units.
Because otherwise the numbers just don't work for them.
Often, yeah. With rising costs, developers need a compelling reason to prioritize these projects over, say, luxury condos.
So what kind of incentives?
Could be various things. Significant property tax breaks, maybe abatements on development profits, makes the financial side more attractive, or expedited permitting. Cutting down bureaucratic delays and costs, that's huge, shortens project timelines.
Really?
Direct subsidies for construction costs were discussed. Even density bonuses, letting developers build more units on a site than normally allowed.
Ah, right.
The goal is basically to make it financially viable, even attractive for developers to prioritize affordability. Make the socially responsible choice also financially sensible.
Creates that win-win.
Okay.
Now, beyond policy and partnerships, you mentioned innovation earlier. Did the summit get into ways to tackle the core cost of building? Because if that's too high, incentives only go so far.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting. They highlighted a very promising solution, modular and prefabricated housing.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Right. So maybe the unsung hero here isn't just policy, but real innovation in construction itself. If you connect this to the big picture of cutting costs and boosting efficiency, these methods are significantly more cost-effective and time-efficient.
How does that work?
Instead of building everything on-site from scratch, components or even whole sections of homes are built in a factory. Controlled environment.
Like building blocks.
Sort of, yeah. This factory process has several big advantages. It drastically cuts labor costs. Work is indoors, ideal conditions, year-round, often less specialized labor needed. Minimizes material waste because of precise cuts, streamlined processes. That's a huge cost in traditional building. And crucially, it slashes construction timelines. A modular home can be put together on-site in days or weeks, fraction of the time for stick-built.
Wow, days or weeks.
Yeah. Makes affordable projects not just cheaper, but much quicker to get online. Addresses the supply shortage faster. Plus, you often get higher quality control in a factory setting. Less susceptible to weather, inconsistent work. It's a potential game changer for scale and speed.
So thinking outside the traditional construction box seems key. Building smarter, faster, not just more.
Exactly. 3, the crucial role of special needs housing.
Now, as we talk about inclusivity, making sure solutions work for everyone, the sources highlighted this vital area, special needs housing. Why was this treated as such a distinct topic at the summit, not just lumped in with general affordable housing? What makes it different?
It emerged as absolutely critical and distinct because it really underscores a fundamental point. True housing solutions have to be inclusive. They have to acknowledge the whole spectrum of human needs. The summit stressed providing for individuals with unique challenges, recognizing that just a roof isn't enough for everyone. It's not just shelter. It's about appropriate, supportive environments designed for the complex needs of people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, mental health conditions, other special circumstances. It acknowledges that one-size-fits-all affordable housing just doesn't work for a significant group.
And without targeted solutions,
They're often left without suitable options. Leads to marginalization, homelessness, worsens existing inequalities. It's recognizing that for many, basic shelter isn't enough. Dignity, accessibility, ongoing support are just as vital.
So what does that specialized aspect actually involve? What makes housing special needs beyond just being affordable? It sounds like a much more integrated approach.
It is much more holistic, integrated, extends way beyond typical design. The source outlines several key parts. First, it means meticulous design, accessible buildings, adequate features, and this goes beyond just basic code compliance.
Okay.
It's thoughtful design anticipating diverse needs, like ramps with gentle slopes, wider doorways for wheelchairs and other assistive devices, specific bathroom setups, grab bars, roll-in showers, adjustable sinks.
Details that make a huge difference in daily life.
Huge difference. For sensory processing issues, maybe careful lighting, acoustics, textures for calming environments. For cognitive impairments, thoughtful layout, clear signage. It's about anticipating the practicalities that impact independence, safety, comfort, making the environment supportive, not an obstacle.
Okay, so the physical design is crucial. What else?
Second, and equally important, robust supportive services. This is maybe the biggest differentiator. Special needs housing isn't just a building, it's a hub for support. These services are key for successful community integration, helping residents thrive, not just exist.
What kind of service?
Could be on-site or easy access to medical care, visiting nurses, therapists, mental health pros,
Oh, yeah.
maybe help with daily living medication management, meal prep, personal care if needed, access to vital community resources, job training tailored to abilities, education, transport to appointments, social outings,
Right.
and critically, fostering social connections, combating isolation through shared activities, common spaces. It's a whole ecosystem of care designed to empower residents.
Wow, that's comprehensive. And the third component.
Third, ensuring funding and resources are specifically allocated to these projects. This highlights a need for targeted investment because, well, the requirements are unique and often more complex, more costly than general affordable housing.
Because of the specialized design and the ongoing services.
Exactly. The extra design costs, the operational expenses for services, often a higher staff-to-resident ratio. It means these projects need dedicated financial streams, beyond just standard rent. Specific funding, federal, state, private grants, specialized investment is often essential. Otherwise, these vital housing types just fall through the cracks.
Right.
The summit's emphasis here shows this needs a focused, sustained investment strategy, can't be addressed with generic solutions.
Which really raises that question about how to meet these needs at scale and how investment fits in, because it sounds like they need sustainable funding.
Precisely. 4, passive rental income, a tool for impact-driven investment.
Okay, this connects to one of the most fascinating takeaways from the summit, something that really clicks with what we try to explore here on the deep dive. This idea of using passive rental income as a tool for creating what they called impact-driven income. So for people familiar with passive rental income, this summit added a twist. Impact-driven. It's not just collecting rent, it's consciously using that financial stream to solve social problems. What does that mean practically? Why is it such a significant idea here?
Well, what's truly fascinating is the paradigm shift it represents. Moving beyond investment as just financial return, it's integrating a direct, measurable social benefit right into the model from the start.
Okay.
So essentially, by strategically investing in affordable housing, individuals aren't just generating steady income from rent. They are simultaneously directly contributing positively to the community. It's not traditional charity. It's a sustainable business model where financial goals are explicitly aligned with profound social impact.
So the investment itself is solving the problem.
Exactly. The investment doesn't just yield profit. It's actively solving a critical issue, like housing insecurity or the lack of specialized housing. It creates this tangible benefit beyond the investor's balance sheet, generates social capital alongside financial capital. It's a compelling way to fund essential social infrastructure sustainably, tapping private investment for public good.
But how do you ensure it's ethical? That it actually helps?
Great question. And the summit explicitly encouraged ethical investment practices. Prioritizing community benefit above all, this is crucial. It's not just about getting a return, but ensuring how you get it. And the nature of the investment itself actively helps, doesn't harm. Meaning transparent practices, fair, stable rents aligned with affordability, commitment to quality maintenance, a genuine long-term commitment to residents and the neighborhood. It's a deliberate choice to uplift the neighborhood, support residents, not just extract value or contribute to displacement. Responsible capitalism, really. The social purpose is as important as the profit, maybe even foundational. Often involves strong partnerships with nonprofits who safeguard that social mission.
So it's not just about the initial investment and the income, but crucially, how that income gets used, like a cycle.
Precisely, a virtuous cycle. The idea is to use that rental income, the profit, to further invest in community projects, amplifying the impact.
How would that work?
Well, the income could be reinvested to expand the affordable housing portfolio, buy or build more units.
Okay.
It could directly fund those crucial supportive services for residents we talked about, or be channeled into broader neighborhood things, upgrading local infrastructure, community gardens, microloans for local businesses, youth programs.
Ah, so it stays in the community.
Right. The capital recirculates, generating more social good, compounding benefits, strengthening the whole community ecosystem.
And that links back to stability, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this is where the societal impact is so clear. Creating stable, affordable housing directly reduces community turnover, enhances neighborhood stability. When people have secure, affordable homes, they stay put, build roots, invest in their local area, contribute. Huge ripple effects. Schools get stable student populations, local businesses get loyal customers, a steady workforce. Community groups have consistent volunteers.
Little cohesion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stronger cohesion, safer, more vibrant, resilient neighborhoods. When people aren't constantly worried about being priced out, they can invest their energy locally. It can reduce crimes, improve public health from less stress, better access to services. Housing stability is truly foundational for a flourishing society. V. Flowers and Associates, making a difference, one home at a time.
Which brings us right back to that compelling example from the summit. Flowers and Associates, and their founder, Robert Flowers. How does their model really embody this profit with purpose philosophy we've been discussing? They seem to be genuinely living it.
Yeah, Robert Flowers is definitely a central figure in the source material. Described as an award-winning real estate investor, over 15 years of hands-on experience. Founder of Flowers and Associates, notably an A+ BBB accredited firm featured in Who's Who. That says a lot about reputation, integrity.
Definitely.
And his long-standing focus, what really sets him apart, is specifically special needs housing. It's been their core mission for over a decade. So they bring this invaluable expertise, dedication, understanding to this very specific, critical sector, ensuring solutions are truly tailored, supportive, effective. It's more than just transactions.
And their core business model.
It's a direct, powerful application of profit with purpose. They operate by helping landlords earn passive income, but specifically by partnering with established nonprofits to provide housing for adults with disabilities.
The nonprofit partnership is key.
Absolutely key. It bridges the financial opportunity for investors with that profound, often unmet community need. The nonprofits understand the needs, provide case management, offer those crucial supportive services. Flowers and Associates handles the property side, acquisition, management, ensuring it meets needs. The nonprofits ensure residents get holistic care. This collaboration creates stable, appropriate housing that often just wouldn't exist otherwise through the standard market. Secure, dignified living for people who might struggle immensely to find it.
It really is that mutually beneficial scenario.
Yeah.
Financial returns directly linked to social good.
Exactly.
So it's a very direct, tangible application of that impact-driven income idea, not just managing houses, but facilitating these crucial support systems, a holistic approach.
Precisely. Their philosophy, stated right in the source, is profit with purpose. It's not just a slogan, it's their operating principle. They strive to make a difference one home at a time. Perfectly captures how their work scales from individual units to broader community impact. It shows how impactful investment can be scaled, sustained, proves you can generate solid returns while addressing urgent social needs. Every partnership, every person housed, contributes to both financial viability and social good. It's a real blueprint.
Now, for our listener who's always looking to learn quickly but thoroughly, maybe even get involved, are there specific resources mentioned from Robert Flowers or Flowers and Associates that could help them dive deeper?
Yes, definitely. The source highlights Robert Flowers' first book. The title again is The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Streams Through Special Needs Housing.
Okay.
It's positioned explicitly as a guide for learning how to turn real estate into impact-driven income. So it would likely cover the practicalities, ethics, the step-by-step process. Invaluable for anyone interested in this niche, new or experienced investors. A roadmap, really.
Sounds useful.
Anything else?
They also mention a passive impact podcast book. Now, podcast book, that might be a mix of audio and written content.
Interesting format.
Yeah, but it clearly indicates they offer ongoing strategies, real stories from the field. So not just theory, but practical lived insights. Regular updates, case studies, maybe interviews with landlords, nonprofit partners.
Continuous learning. Exactly. Perfect for someone wanting ongoing insights and a connection to the tangible impact being made.
It sounds like an incredible resource for those really looking to, well, make a difference while potentially building wealth. Outro. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? As you navigate all this information, maybe look for ways to contribute. We started this deep dive unpacking that critical, escalating, affordable housing crisis, especially in places like the East End. We identified those complex, interwoven factors, wealthy buyers, construction costs, zoning laws, a multi-pronged problem needing multi-pronged solution.
And then we explored the solutions from the summit, ranging from macro strategies like public-private partnerships and developer incentives down to innovative, practical stuff like modular housing to cut costs and speed up supply. And crucially, we focused on that vital, often overlooked area of special needs housing. its unique needs for tailor-designed, comprehensive support, solutions beyond just shelter.
Right. And here's where it gets really impactful, I think, for you listening.
Right.
We saw how pioneering organizations like Flowers and Associates, led by Robert Flowers, are really showing a powerful new model, generating passive income not just financially, but as a direct, ethical, effective way to create positive community impact, especially in the special needs housing. It shows ethical investment isn't just a nice idea. It can genuinely contribute to stable, thriving neighborhoods, support vulnerable people sustainably.
And this deep dive, particularly into the work of Robert Flowers, it really raises an important question for all of us, maybe a provocative one. If investing in real estate can be consciously structured to foster community stability and support vulnerable groups, what other traditionally for-profit sectors might be revolutionized by adopting this profit-with-purpose mindset?
That's a big question.
Yeah. How might wider adoption of this philosophy, building social good into the business model, reshape our communities, our personal financial landscapes? Think beyond housing, healthcare, education, environment.
It makes you think, how could you as an individual apply this principle? Not just in housing, but anywhere your resources, skills, efforts could align with a social good. It's a really powerful idea to mull over, isn't it? The potential for impact there. And again, for those inspired to learn more about special needs housing or this whole area of impact-driven real estate, you can reach Flowers and Associates directly. The number is 901-621-3544. They specialize in special needs housing. And their founder, Robert Flowers, well, he literally wrote the book on it. The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Streams Through Special Needs Housing. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big, impactful questions.